there, welcome to NZ Money Karma, where you can find freedom from the daily grind through budgeting, simple living and adventure. I am a little bit behind time today. It's 20 past 7. Hopefully you guys can see that. I'm about to jump in the car. Well, actually, I've already jumped in the car. I'm about to start the car and head off to Pack and Save. I have just, hang on, let me have a look here and show you. That's my list. Make sure I've got my money. I've got my food money. I've done my cash stuff. I have only $100 for each week, so I have $200 in this envelope, and I have not a penny more to spend. The budget is tight this week, or this fortnight, and I'm just going to do the best with what I have. So come and join me, and we'll see how we go.
When you pull the traffic, that's litres per 100. When I got the next car, it did 6.3 litres per 100 whether you're in the central city or not, because it would shut down the lights and then restart again as soon as you took your foot off the brake.
Okay, I've made it. I thought I was actually running really late because the time on the clock is kind of later than I would normally get here, but it seems like I am here sooner than most of the people of Christchurch, so I think there'll still be some buns for me. That's what I'm always thinking when I'm running a wee bit late. This was my list when I headed to Pack and Save. So it was pretty tiny. If you've caught my other video, you would have seen that I've done a pantry kind of look through, stock take, what have you, and just looking at what we needed for the week or the 2 weeks ahead, because it was going to be a skinny week. I only had the $200. This was my list that I had of what we would be able to eat for tea. So okonomiyaki or an omelette, and that would be served with rice, something made out of polenta, which I don't know what that would be yet, curry, either a dal or split pea, lemony lentil soup or a veggie soup, cauliflower cheese and sausages, chili con carne, baked potatoes. So we had lots of stuff still left over that I needed to use. We had a couple of minces, 3 chickens, 2 sausages. We've got tons of seitan, we've got tons of lentils. So there's, protein in every meal, and that was some ideas down here just for what I was going to cook for, like make for snacks. So orange polenta cake, muffins, chocolate cake. I've got old bananas for a banana cake. I can make some crackers. I'm going to get onto that when I get home today. But I've been to Pack and Save, and it's fair to say I didn't exactly stick to my list. I've got many more things on there than I wrote, and that's my change. So it came to $164.10, and check this out. Is that potentially the tiniest trolley of food you've ever seen for $164? I reckon. Let's unpack it and see how much it costs. Okay, hopefully you can hear me okay. I'm packing straight from my trolley into my car, and I'm going to start off with buns. My bun bargains, $5.49 down to $2, $8.49 down to $2. So there is enough bread that I've got today. I've got 2 more of those big 16 packs. So I've got enough bread for lunches for the next 2 weeks, and that's $6 worth. So I just have to kind of make the salad, or, if there's some leftover meat. We've got tons of leftover sandwich meats like salami and ham from previous shops that are in the freezer, so I can get some of them out. That's just grocery day treat. If I can find a nice bun, I will definitely buy it, but just one. So that's that. That was $8 all up for that. Now this is the only meat I've got. That was on sale, $3.49. So that's $16.99 a kg, and then that's down again. So I actually go through and I make sure I get the one that weighed the most, $5.57 and $4.49. So I know I'm getting the most kgs for, the money that I've got, because they're all reduced down to $3.49. So these are the same, even though there's more meat in here than here. And I got one of those, $9.41. So that's just under $20. What else have I got? $6.19 for 2 of these. They're not going in a bag. sorry, I hope you can hear me. I'm trying to talk kind of quietly because it's quite weird to be talking into your boot of your car, and I'm trying not to draw attention to myself while I do that. This fortnight is going to involve a lot of baking because we just have this money, so I'm going to have to make do with whatever I have. So I got some icing sugar. Let's see, what was that? That's $1.79. Brown sugar, $2.19, and I've got that because we'll start eating porridge now, porridge oats, and just brown sugar is way nicer than white sugar or raw sugar on porridge, I think. And then I've got some raw sugar, and what was that? That is also $2.19. Okay, so I've got coffee also. Coffee and Weet-Bix. The coffee comes to $6.49. If my husband could, I guess, wean himself from his coffee addiction, he has no motivation to do that though. That would save us $6.49 a shop. And then I've got Weet-Bix, and they're $5.49. Now these were I guess an impulse buy. There's 5 of them in here, and this is a much better price than when I buy it at the bin in, so I'll get one out so you can see. And I use this to make laundry soap, and I'm actually going to do a video to show you guys how to do that because it's way, way, way cheaper than anything you will find in the supermarket, and it works just as well. So why pay more when you don't need to, right? And I got some Sard soap because my kids' clothes have got lots of stains on them and I need to get it out. That's quite expensive. Sorry, I should have told you. So Sard Wonder Soap is $4.15, and these Sunlight soaps, to try and find them on my list, $5.15. That's pretty good. I think I paid $2 for my last block of Sunlight soap at the bin. So that's going to be $1 and something per block of soap, so that's pretty good. $3.79 for some deodorant. My daughter wants that. I make my own deodorant. My daughter refuses to use that, so I just buy her what she asks for. That's fine. And a block of cheese. Dun, dun, dun. If you're not from New Zealand and you want to have a guess how much budget cheese is now, all is revealed. $12.55 for the very cheapest of cheeses. It's pretty disappointing. I'm constantly disappointed with dairy. Gone are the days when I could buy a tasty block of cheese or smoked cheese, you know, like I just can't even imagine what it would be like to have something like that on your sandwiches anymore. I've got some chocolate chips and some butter. So just chocolate chips for my baking. They were $4.49. Oh, hang on, that's more expensive. That said $3.39. That actually was meant to be $3.39, so they have advertised that wrong. And I'm still here, so I'm actually going to go back in and get them to change that. And then I've got butter. It's horrendous. Someone watched one of my old videos and said, oh, it's so funny to see, you know, just within the space of a year, how butter prices have changed and how they have changed. So what do we got here? Butter, $8.89 for the cheapest butter. Okay, I've got 30 eggs. Now these were a good price. These were $6.99 each, so that's better than normal. I got some jellies, and I just got these because they were on special. They were $1.29, and that was in my prepper pantry list. You know, when I went through that list of what preppers would put in their pantry, jelly was one of those things. So I thought, hey, why not? I'm here, let's do it. And then I've got some pasta. Let's have a look. Ham's pasta spirals, $1.59 each. Almost to the bottom of it now. I just got some Pam's vanilla biscuits, and I got these because I want to do more baking, and I thought I'll make a fudge slice, and you need one of these to do a fudge slice. Can't find them, sorry. I'm just going to tell you they were about $1.50, maybe a little bit less. Okay, now I've got a ton of, well, not a ton, that's an exaggeration. I've got some pears, So again, Pam's pears, they were $1.79, and you've got to be careful where they had Pam's pear quarters in juice and in syrup, and they were two quite different prices. So I'll chop that in now if I'm able. I've got some pineapple chunks, which are $1.55. That's just to fill up the pantry. And I've got some condensed milk, $2.79, because I want to make a lolly cake. I've got malt biscuits, I've got Eskimos, which I opened the other night and started eating some. So I need to make the slice before I eat all the Eskimos, and then I don't have all the ingredients. And then I've got 3 budget milks. They are $4.29 each, so all up $12.87. Almost there. I've got Pam's tomato sauce. Again, we have some of this in the pantry, but it's the kind of thing you use all the time, so I thought, seeing as I was sticking to a tiny budget and I was going to be making a lot of the things from our pantry, I would just stock up. And that is Pam sauce, $1.69. Sorry, it's taken me so long to find because I'm trying to be so discreet. And I just got a few bits of fresh fruit and vegetables, not much, because we also have lots of vegetables in the garden where our fridge was pretty full. We're getting, a bowl of feijoas every day from our trees, so we've got fruit. We don't grow bananas though, so I've got some bananas, and they were $4.28 for 6 bananas. My husband is the only one that will really eat those, but that's cool. I've got a capsicum, $1.69. I got a handful of mandarins, and I only bought a handful because sometimes they can be delicious and sometimes they can be a bit yuck and kind of watery and not very sweet at all. So $2.37. I'll just have to see. If they're nice, then I'll buy more. Next time. If they're not, then I know, okay, the mandarins this season aren't that flash. $4.99 for a bag of oranges for my son's sports team. We provide them each week. And then I've just got one more thing left, and that's mushrooms. Yeah, I'm the only person in my house that loves mushrooms, but I do love them. I don't eat meat, so I think, buying some mushrooms every now and then is not a crime. How much did they cost me though? They were $3.51, and I've got 9 mushrooms, so enough for a meal, right? One meal. So that's kind of my treat. Okay, I'm going to pack these up properly now, and I'm going to go back and swap my chocolate chips. I hope you found that helpful. I do have some change, obviously, because I spent $164 out of my $200. I'm going to swing by the discount supermarket and see if that's open, and see what bargains I can find there. So I hope you guys have a wonderful day. You managed to nab some bargains at the supermarket yourself, and I look forward to catching up with you next time. Bye for now.